Hello friends, in this video we are going to learn about the use reducer. So if you are not familiar with the use reducer, so let you explain what exactly the use reducer. So we can also check it over here. React React documentation is here. It is React document. There is a search. Okay, use reducer. You can type it. Use reducer. Right, additional hooks. Okay, so you can see that an alternative to the use state, that is the use reducer. Okay, this you can see that there is a increment and decrement, right? So this is basically we are using. So what is the use of the use reducer, why it is you can see that use reducer is usually preferable to use state when you have a complex state logic that involve multiple sub values. Suppose you are doing login, right? Before there is a validation, and after the validation, when the API hits, there is a loader, right? So if your logic is dependent on the first log your second logic that you're going to implement is dependent on the first one, in that case we are going to use the use reducer, because we can't set the state at that moment with the help of the use state, because one situation is dependent on another one, another value. So in that case we are going to use the use reducer. In that case, in that we have to use that. If it is simple one, like if it is a form, like suppose first name last name, so in that case you can set the state. If it is a complex more logic, suppose one state is dependent on the other one, in that case you are going to use the use reducer. Okay, so let's check out the declaration and the syntax. Okay, so you can see that here, so you need to import from the use reducer, right? And here we have the actions. Okay, so we have making the cases. So for the cases add and return count, and this state dot count plus one, and for subtraction state dot count minus one, and default it will return zero. Okay, so you can see that count is zero. So so you can see that const state use reducer, you can and react dot use reducer we are using, and here we are bypassing the count initial. So whenever to use these functions, we have a method called dispatch, right? So for the dispatch, you can see that state and the dispatch name the type add. And when I click on the button add, if I click on this one, add this one, if I go to add two and go with this one, reload this, add by two. Okay, so you can see that when I click on it, will dispatch that event. So I have used this one that is called dispatch reducer, use reducer, where in the modal case, when you have a pop-up. Okay, so whenever there is an initial load, you open the pop-up. So when you try to close it, then you have to hide the pop-up. So one condition is dependent on another one. In that case, you can use the dispatch event. Here you can open the modal. When I click on the close button, you can dispatch the another like you can see the reducer action. So it will close that pop-up, right? So in the complex logic phenomena, you can use the use reducer. In the small case, you can go for the use state. So I have some use reducer is an alternative to the use state, which gives them more control over the state management and can make the testing easier. When there is a complex business logic, you can use the use reducer. Use reducer is usually preferable to the use state when you have a complex state logic that involves multiple sub values, or when the next state depends on the previous one. So in that case, use reducer also lets to optimize the performance of the components that trigger deep updates, because you can dispatch down instead of the callbacks, right? You can use the callbacks and dispatch the things. Okay, so I hope you understand the concept of the use reducer, or when to use that use reducer. So we have discussed all the logics. Okay, any issue, anything that you don't understand, just let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a great day.